You referenced Instagram, and
Yes.
and I'm curious how social media either plays a role in your career, has changed your career.
Gosh, yeah.
Is it a good thing? Is it? I think it's a good thing.
I
but,
do too.
Yeah.
I do too. Well, and I think it's a great thing because I know you through TV. However, I've gotten to know you even better through social media.
That's how I feel.
I get to see your flair. I get to see your travels, your design. I get to see all of it. And that's what I love. Even
Same
friends
here. Like
that,
you and I comment back and forth. I
Yes.
don't think I would have ever reached out to you to say, would you be on my podcast if
Absolutely.
I'd only ever seen you at the news station?
Exactly. Like you get to bond with people.
Right.
Even people that I went to high school with or
Same.
friends that, they're some of my closest best friends, but I don't have time to call and talk to them all the time. Like we just don't do phone calls anymore.
No.
And I was a phone call girl growing up. Now I'm like,
Now
you
I
wanna
almost
talk to me?
get-
Text me.
I almost get bothered if someone's
Yes.
calling me. They're like, hey, call me back. I'm like, just send me a text and say what
That's
this is
me.
about.
Good. I'll never call you unless it's an emergency.
Exactly.
You'll be fine.
Or if you call me, then don't just leave me a voicemail saying, hey, call me. I'm like, no,
Just
send
text
me
me.
a text and
Send
say
me a
what it's
text.
about. Is this an emergency? Is this
Totally.
because we want to make
Yeah.
plans? Like, what is this
Yeah.
about?
But no, I think social media is so amazing. It also has its detriments.
Definitely.
Absolutely. You can get too addicted to it. You can get too stuck around the numbers, your followers, things like that. I feel like I've gotten to a really good place with it, but I've had my moments of not being in a good place where
Definitely.
even when I was with previous jobs, they would be so down our throat that we had to have so many posts up by a certain time. Like I had to
Oh,
have my
that feels
first post
stressful.
up by 6 a.m.
Yeah.
Then I had to have 3 Facebook posts throughout the day. I had to have as many tweets as possible and
Right.
1
Oh my
Instagram.
gosh.
And it was so
That's like a full-time
overwhelming.
job.
Oh god, it was so overwhelming
Yeah.
that when I've left certain jobs, I've stopped posting because it was so refreshing to not
Yeah.
have someone telling me to
Right.
post. So right now I'm posting for myself.
Yeah.
Fox 13 is so great. It's an added bonus for us. They don't control or tell me how much to post, and I so appreciate it.
And I feel like that feels more organic and real
Totally.
anyway.
yeah.
And I've heard it said, and I think it could be true that because I love social media for
Yeah.
all the things that you just said. Like, it keeps me in touch with my friends from high school that I see once every 10 years at a reunion.
Of
But I
course.
feel like I know what's going on in their lives so that when I do see them, it's like no time has passed.
Yeah.
I have heard it said, and I find myself thinking about this, that it gives you the feeling of being close to people who don't matter, which is horrible to say because everybody matters, but who should matter less and further apart from the people who do matter. So, and I have thought about that
That's
like
true.
cousins, siblings, relatives, I find myself not reaching out as often as I probably should. I hate that word should, but like, because I feel like, oh, I see what they're doing on social media, So
true.
it is a balance and it's tricky.
It's totally a balance. Yeah.
And when I've had social media advisors who say like the optimal time for you to post is at X o'clock and you should always post between, need to post every day.
know.
I'm like,
I
I
have to
find
let it
myself
go.
rebelling against it
Yes.
because then I'm like, oh my, I'm waking
That's
up in the
me.
morning and I need to be on job sites. And then I'm also supposed to be thinking of an Instagram post.
I know.
Or then like, oh, we'll plan it all a week ahead. But I'm like, well, what if I don't feel like posting that picture
I know.
on that day? And I don't want to think what I'm going to write as the caption a week before. So
Absolutely. And I've done social media collaborations, and it's hard when they give you a certain time they want it posted.
yes.
And if it's in the middle
Same
of another
here.
job, I'm stressed out. So I just have to make it work for me.
Yeah.
And I post when it works.
Yeah.
There's times where I'm like, I should be posting, and I'm, I haven't posted for a week and a half, whatever. And I'm like, you know what? I don't care. But
Right.
now I love that there's stories because I feel
Same.
like that is just
That's
so
easier. It
easy.
feels like low lift.
Yes.
It's not,
just-
if it's like a grid post, not talking about social media the whole time, but like I'll scrutinize it to death. Like, is this right?
Yeah.
Should it be filtered? Should it be not? Do I look weird? But if it's just like a story,
go for it. I know.
whatever, just like post it. It's fun.
The one thing that helps is live TV. Like you can't go back, right? When
Yeah.
there's live TV. So with social media, do you think that helps me a bit?
That
just
would
like just kind
definitely
of
help.
post it.
Yeah.
There are times where I post things and I'm like, I don't really like that, but you know what? It's
But whatever,
me, and
it's
it
up.
happened, and it was
And it's
organic,
real.
and it's real.
Right. And I
so you
think,
just post
I
it.
think people are feeling that.
But I
That-
do love it. I'm grateful for it.
Good.
Yeah.
Back to travel for a second
let's
because
talk
it's my
travel.
obsession.
Mine too.
Destinations that are high on your list. Where do you want to go?
Gosh, I mean, obviously Australia and Italy because I lived there, so they're very, very near and dear to my heart. But we're talking places I want to go.
Right.
Or I
but
have been.
still, that's a good answer because I struggle with, I love to go back to the places that I've been
too.
and love. And then there's all these other places I haven't been. But if like time and money are like real things that you have to spend, it's resources. It's like, well, I want to go back to Italy every year or Morocco or
know.
whatever, but I haven't been to X, Y, and Z, and I should be going to those places.
Absolutely. And the Dolomites are high on my list because I never made it there
my
when I
gosh,
was living in
it's
Italy.
so beautiful. You have to.
They just look incredible.
And that would
So-
accomplish something. That's taking you to a
Exactly.
new place, but you're still in a country that you love.
Yeah, so I would love to go back there, but like we were even talking with one of your producers, Portugal's on my list, Morocco. I mean,
Love
I have
Portugal.
Oh,
And we just came back from Peru, and I loved Peru, and that was something people had said, like, oh, that's on my bucket list. It wasn't really on my bucket list. Like, I thought, like, oh,
And
Machu Picchu seemed cool. But, like, I
It's unreal,
love that I
isn't
did
it?
it. It was incredible.
Yes.
It was incredible.
I did a humanitarian trip to Peru, and so we got to help
Oh, wow.
people in villages there. And so we were in these teeny tiny villages at like 16,000 elevation,
Right.
you know, things like
Really
that.
high.
So high. But then we also got to go to Machu Picchu and do some other things. And it's just, it's incredible. South Africa's high on my list.
Yeah, same here. I've never been there.
Never, but it just looks unreal. I did a safari in Uganda, and it was one of the most amazing things I've ever done in my life.
I would love to do that.
So if you've not done a safari, put it on your list.
It's definitely on the list.
Yeah.
I get stuck on, if you're going there, you need to do all these different things. And so that's going to take 3 weeks, and I can't be gone 3 weeks. And one of my friends who runs a travel business there, she's like, no, because think about going to the United States. You're not going to try to see the whole United
Exactly.
States in one trip. Like,
Exactly.
tackle a region, tackle an area, do it for however long, and then know that other parts are going to be a different trip.
I feel like that's where Craig and I really work together with traveling. We're not the type of people to just be in one place for super, super long periods
Same
of
here.
time. And we're not going to do all these really long tours. Like,
Right.
we're going to get there. We are going to see as much as we possibly can
Right.
while also relaxing and having some downtime.
Yes.
And
I do
that's
not like being
you-
overscheduled.
No. And we don't even schedule a lot. Like, we'll
No.
have the basics, but
Yeah.
I like to just go with the flow and see how
Right.
it works.
Well,
Meet
sometimes I have a
locals.
dinner reservation, and then I'll say, and thankfully my husband's like along for the ride, I'll say, if it's a great day for me with travel is if I can do something cultural that I'm learning, something, it's not shopping like I need to buy something, but something like seeing
Yes.
style, fashion, for sure, interior design related things, pretty homes, something like that.
Yes.
Culinary. But
Oh,
then
you have
also
to.
for sure downtime, because the trips I've had where everything is hyper scheduled.
Oh, it's so much.
Like I need a vacation from my vacation.
I know. I'm with
I
you.
know.
I'm with you. But there's so many places on my list. I'm like, I just keep thinking of more. I'm like,
Let's
But
go
I
back-
could
let's
go
go
on
back to your
forever.
job. Let's go
Let's
to your
talk
job.
about it. Yes.
Hey, thanks for listening to today's episode of The Cult of Flair. I'm Stephanie Hunt. If you like what you heard, please share it with a friend. Follow the podcast on whatever platforms you are listening. Follow me on Instagram at The Flair Hunter or at The Cult of Flair. And until next time, go find your flair.